As finals are approaching, many college students spend their time cramming last minute for their exams in hopes of getting better scores. Although they may study more, their lack of sleep can lead to other health risks that can affect their everyday lives. Therefore, we decided to research to what extent does sleep deprivation influence the way that we perceive our own skills. This topic matters because most college kids stay up late in order to ensure that they do well on their exams. However, studies have shown that no matter how much effort you put forth when doing an exam, it won't make up for the fact that you are sleep deprived.
A study done by Pilcher and Walters assessed how sleep deprivation may alter people's moods or change how they self-report their performance on cognitive tests, and whether these reports were accurate. They tested this by creating two groups and manipulating how much sleep they got, making one group stay up and another go back home to sleep. Following this, each person was instructed to take a test the next morning and rate their performance and mood. What was found was that those that are sleep deprived performed worse on the cognitive task, but reported higher levels of performance than those who were not. Unlike the first study, the second one tests how lack of sleep affects people's perception of their action capabilities as opposed to their cognitive abilities. The difference between the findings in this study, opposed to the first one, that assessed cognitive performance, was that those who were sleep deprived rated their performance on their abilities lower. The researchers found that it could not be determined whether this was due to a conservative estimate of their physical abilities or the lack of sleep that altered their cognitive functioning on rating those abilities. The research done in these two studies led us to question what determines how a person perceives their own performance. The discrepancies between the results in the studies leaves a gap of whether or not sleep deprivation actually affects a person's perception of their performance. We decided to test this in our own experiment by addressing the question of whether insufficient sleep or the amount of studying you do affects your perception of your performance.
If we test what people will perceive their outcome will be in 4 different scenarios, then the people who are sleep deprived because they were studying will have higher expectations regarding their test scores, because they have been studying more, so they will feel that they have put more effort into preparing for the test, and therefore feel that they should get better results.
We will randomly select 200 people from the ages of 18 through 24 through SONA. The participants will each be introduced to one of 4 situations. The amount of sleep and whether they study or not will vary between groups. However, at 6:15 a.m., they will all be given the same test. There will be a multiple-choice reading comprehension test. After the test, each person will be asked to complete a survey ranking how much effort they put in while taking the test and how well they think they did. We will then grade the test and compare their actual results with their perceived results. Once we have randomly assigned the participants to a specific group, we will have each participant put into a room inside a sleep lab so that we are able to monitor the amount of sleep that they receive. Every person will be asked to enter their room at 6 p.m. Then they will be allowed to do as they please until 8 p.m.
This group will be allowed to do what they want in their room until 10 p.m. Once 10 p.m. comes, they will be asked to go to sleep for 8 hours before they are given a test in the morning at 6:15 a.m. At 8 p.m., the second group of participants will be introduced to a reading that they will be tested on the next morning. From 8 to 10 p.m., they will be allowed to study the material in order to be prepared for the test that they will also be given at 6:15 a.m. At 10 p.m., they will be asked to go to sleep for 8 hours.
At 8 p.m., the third group will be allowed to do what they want until 2 a.m. At 2 a.m., they will be asked to sleep for 4 hours until 6 a.m. At 6:15, they will also be given the same test as the rest of the groups. At 8 p.m., the fourth group will be introduced to a reading that they will be tested on the next morning. At 2 a.m., they will be asked to go to sleep for 4 hours. At 6:15 a.m., they will also be given the same test as the rest of the groups. There will be a timed multiple-choice reading comprehension test. After the test, each person will be asked to complete a survey ranking on a scale of 1 to 10 how well they think they did on the test. We will then grade the test and compare their actual results with their perceived results.
The strengths of our experiment are that we have 2 independent variables. Another strength is that our participants have been randomly selected and randomly assigned. Also, the experiment will take place in a sleep lab so we can monitor our patients. Limitations of our experiment are that we are testing multiple variables, so it may be difficult to deduce conclusions. Another limitation is that the participants will only be sleep deprived for one night, so it may not really affect them.